Yeah. Welcome to the One Player Podcast, the show on solitaire board games. I'm your host, Albert, and this is episode 401.
Albert, do you know what happens when you tell a joke to a deer and it just doesn't care?
No, I was going to peek, but I didn't want
It's a moose take.
to. That's That's good. Well, hi, Julius.
Hello, everybody.
How are you doing? How's everyone
I'm
else?
doing great. Planning some, well, no, not really. We can talk about the pretend vacations that we're doing to national parks.
Oh, nice. You're going to
But we're only doing
local.
we're only doing that in board game versions.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. That's which parks have you visited? All of them?
None.
No, not yet.
But in Peak
Yeah.
Team, we get to at least visit some park. I'm not quite sure what park it's supposed to be, but we're visiting a park.
Oh, okay. So today we're talking about Peak Team then.
Yes. The Peak Team Rangers. So the Peak Team Rangers is a game. It is fully cooperative, where you are a bunch of rangers who are taking care of a park that everyone has a job to go check on some animals and go check on certain places in the park. And you have to complete it all before the end of the week, and when the park closes for the weekend, to make sure that everything stays a-okay, honky-dory. Otherwise, things go bad real fast.
Okay. That sounds like fun. No wonder you want to not go to the park and just do it virtually, though, because it also sounds terrifying.
Yeah, maybe, but only when you're a ranger. I mean, there's fires, there's mountain collapses. For some reason, there's a climate where you're using snowshoes, and right below it is a climate desert area. Yeah, we've sort of squished everything all into one.
Yeah, that could be dangerous. I see. Yeah. So just total random aside here, not exactly an aside related to this. I went to BGG to download the manual so I could reference it while you tell me about this game I've never heard of before. The file is called I Love PDF merged for the rule book for this game. I don't know why.
That is not the one that is done by the actual design team. The one that is uploaded by the publisher is not very screen friendly. So someone has decided to rename it and redo it.
Well, this is by Matagot Contact. I think it is by the publisher. But it's called I Love PDF. It's just an odd little thing. And then the second thing is when I started downloading it, it went to an AWS link. So apparently they save their files in AWS. I didn't know that.
That's a BGG.
That makes sense. Yeah, BGG. It totally makes sense, but I just didn't know that. And now I do. Anyway, so Peak Team.
So I think I've given you the quick oversight. Shall we hop into components?
Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent. So this game, just as another brief summary and introduction, the game has different levels of difficulty. When you are playing solo, you must play on at least difficulty level 4. Otherwise, you can play on difficulty 1 to 5, and there's different difficulties because of it. So some of the components that I'm going to reference only come into play for higher level difficulties. Some of them come into play for lower difficulty levels. 4 things that are across the board. Every person is going to have their own mat, and the mat is primarily just a place to store stuff. It is a very pretty pouch looking type thing. And on that spot, that's where you're going to hang out with some ranger flags. So everyone's going to get a set of wood flags that stand upright that you're going to use to mark places around the board that are your missions to go out there. Everyone's going to have their own color, and each of the ranger flags is a slightly different shape to help with colorblind friendly, so that everyone theoretically knows which ranger flag is theirs, even if you can't see the colors, by which shape it is. As an aside, I appreciate that they did colorblind friendly to help suggest which ones are yours, but you don't reference it back on the ranger mat. So your mat's in front of you, and both your flags are out, and if you can't tell the difference between two of the colors, let's say you're red-green colorblind, there's no way for you to look and say, hey, of the 4 ones that are out there, I don't know which 2 are mine, without asking my color not blind friend to be able to tell me. So I'm not quite sure why that was there, but I definitely appreciate the ideas of it. And none of my colorblind friendly people have complained about this to me, so maybe it's not really such an issue anyway.
Yeah, that
Nonetheless,
is funny though. I was actually looking for the flag icons of the mats to see how you tell which is which, and it's just not there.
not there. Just not there. So those ranger mats are where you store your flags, where you store your tokens and your cards, and each person gets a nice wood chunky meeple with some screen printed character on it that you'll use to mark where on the big giant board you are. You also get a support token, which is essentially a wild token that you can use in support of your friends. I mentioned the big giant map. There is a game board. It's double-sided, so one's for higher player count, one's for lower player counts. So the map there's a big map of the whole terrain. On the bottom, there's some grasslands, and then some forest lands, and then some mountains lands, and then some icy mountain lands. So you can sort of see the breakup of the different types of biomes in our tiny park that has a lot of different biomes to it somehow. So you look across that map, and that's going to show you where everything is and where you're able to do all of the things across the board. And you're moving across that map by moving your characters across. Across the right side of the board are going to be spaces where your missions are going to go at. All of your missions are different cards. Each card has a letter A through, I think it's Z, and then 1 through, I think it's 9 or 10, or it's not 10, 1 through 9 or something like that. So it lists out all of the different missions. And the idea is when you get a mission, you put your flag on that one. Say you get a mission L, you put your flag on L. So now your job is to go to L and do that. There's a token to mark who's first player. And then the most fun part, there are supply cards. Supply cards are going to list different actions and things you can do on your turn. They are multi-use cards with primarily 2 uses on them, because there's a picture of an animal that comes into play for some things, and there's a picture of what movement you can do around the board. There's also animal tokens that get spread on the board. You'll use those pictures of the animals to interact with the animal tokens, and I'll get into that more when we get into the gameplay. All of the tokens are bright, colorful. All of them are relatively easy to see, with only 5, technically a couple more icons, with only 7 icons present across the cards and the different animal pictures across the cards. There's not a whole lot of iconography. There's not a whole lot of complexity to it. A lot of the gameplay just comes out of the puzzle of having to work out how it is that you solve the actions of your cards to make sure everyone gets around where everyone wants to / needs to go. I very much enjoy all of the components. It looks bright. It looks very colorful. It looks very fun to the map. The different standing flags, the different ranger tokens, all of those are very inviting, and I like the gameplay very much evokes a very family-friendly experience. And I say family-friendly not to denote that it isn't, but certainly on level 1, it can be very family-friendly. On the higher levels, the complexity definitely ramps up. And noting that for solo, you must have the higher difficulty levels. It can easily ramp up higher.
Okay.
What do you think, Albert?
I like the look of this game a lot. I like the components. And are the wooden flags, are that upgrade components or standard components?
The wooden flags are the standard components.
Nice. Okay. Very cool. Another thing we didn't mention, I'm pretty sure we didn't, is this game is published by Matagot and designed by Scott Almes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, another Scott Almes games with solo. Yeah.
Should mention that.
It shocks me how many he has. His designer page must be just huge.
I will say one of the reasons why I was interested in it, because it was a Scott Almes game, so he's got design cred with me at least.
Yeah. I sometimes I don't like him, but often I do. Definitely. Mm-hmm. It's like with everything.
So I think that about covers the components. I'm eager to move on to the gameplay, but before I do that, I have a couple comments about the rules.
Okay.
You ready to hear about the rules, Albert?
Yes, I guess we're going in the rules section now, sort of.
Well, we did components.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess we didn't do theme, but Theme is
Yeah.
great. I think
Okay.
I've basically discussed theme. Theme is great. You feel like your ranger's running around the board, so theme is very good.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
really want to discuss the rules. Before I get into
Okay.
gameplay, I want to discuss the rules. Because the rules for this are they're weird. um like I mentioned, there are different difficulty levels across it. So level 1 to level 5. The game decided to give you 2 rule books. One of the rule books takes you from difficulty level 1 to level 3. A second rule book takes you difficulty 4 and 5. And they're on separate rule books. The solo mode is mentioned, is discussed. I think the solo mode is discussed. Oh man, I have to go pull it back out. But the rulebook breaks out the solo mode in a separate spot, but all of these rules are just interspersed between. You don't ever have an ability to really get a full understanding from reading through any one thing. Really, I found this game surprisingly difficult to learn from the rules because of that layout. Playing the game, it's not that difficult to play the game. It's really not that hard. But being able to understand, hey, if I want to just jump straight to the more difficult version of the rules, and because I don't usually start games at level 1. If I want to jump to level 3 and play level 3, if I want to jump to level 2 and start level 2, how do you do that? How do you implement that? What's the specific new thing that gets involved? How does it all tie in? I found it more difficult to be able to understand how that works than I thought it should have, just based on that organization of it. For example, at level 4, I suppose I'm jumping ahead, but at level 4 you have special missions where some of the missions you have to, some of the special missions, or these special missions, they require coordination between the whole team, that the whole team has to get to specific places at once. And so level 4 brings in that you have to succeed at doing that a certain number of times in the game to be able to beat the game. And then it becomes also beat your own score type game. So you have to do that a certain number of times in the course of the game, but you get everyone to the right places to be able to do all of the things. The way it is so it just adds in, hey, when you're doing the setup, instead of doing this or add on to this and then fix this and move this one around, and then you have an extra action about during the action turn, you have a second action that you can do, and you can also complete these special missions. Being able to slot it all in.
So
I
wait,
personally got confused by it.
does that mean that if I'm playing level 4, I need to learn how to play level 1 and then read the changes for level 2 and then the changes for level 3 and then the changes for level 4?
Yes.
Wow. I can't. That's terrible.
Yes.
It's
not
that's
that
like
you
my
read through the
complaint
whole rule
about.
book.
Yeah.
It is your complaint for solo magnified a dozen times. You don't read through the whole rule book in order and be like, if you're playing on level 4, ignore the box in the right place. If the rule book went through and had been designed with, hey, during setup, do all these things, and it had a box around the level 3 stuff and said, level 3, don't read this box if you're not doing level 3, but it's in the right place, sure. But instead, it's not like that. You have to go and like flip around and do
Jump back and forth. Yeah. I mean, I could have seen, like you said, a box or level 2 is in blue, level 3 is in red, level 4 is in green, whatever, and you read the paragraphs that apply to you. Now, can you I guess at least it has. Does that mean you could like say, I'm going to play level 5 and 1, but I don't want to use 3 and 4?
No. No, you can't do that.
You can't do that. Oh.
No. You have to take it up each notch one at a time.
Darn. Okay.
Yeah.
That is.
I mean, actually, I guess specifically for level 5, you could do that, but I'm not. Without knowing all the level 5 adds weather cards, and I'm not sure what all the weather card effects are to be confident that it doesn't interact with some of the things.
Yeah,
so it may
some of the weather
cards.
Some of the weather cards may mention one of the rules of the level 4 getting teams at the same time. Like, you're one of your team members is delayed, and so or something. So okay, but so generally speaking, you cannot really mix them. You have to add one at a time. It's not It's not optional upgrades, it's levels that you. Oh,
Yes.
goodness.
And
Okay, well, that was it.
the way it's designed, you're supposed to play a game with level 1, and when you beat it, you play a game with level 2. When you beat it, you play a game with level 3. So kind of like unlocking
Oh,
additional
a
content.
campaign. Yeah.
It's not even a campaign. It's just, hey, you personally have leveled up in your abilities, and so you do that, which means that you theoretically are always reading the rulebook for your section, then you read the rulebook for the stuff you unlocked. It's the
Okay.
idea.
That
But
makes
for someone
sense.
who's
Okay.
like, I don't want to play on easy mode, I want to jump straight to level 2, which anybody who's listening to this podcast, I recommend jumping straight to level 2. Level 1 was kind of boring. You
Yep.
know?
Well, this is just me saying I don't want to start in the multiplayer game. I want to start in the solo game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When learning solo first was real tough because you have to also learn 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very often with solo games, almost every game I purchase, first thing I will do is I will sit down and play a game of it solo. This one was hard to do that.
Wow.
Because
that's interesting.
You have to know the advanced stuff to be able to play solo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually when I sit down to play a new game, I'll make my son play with me, and I'll play a 2-player game, and then I'll play the solo game. I don't bother trying to go straight to solo because of that rules book nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I'm not getting this game. That's for sure.
Oh, well, wait till I tell you about some of the other stuff.
It looks pretty, but boy, that's a hassle. I don't support that nonsense.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay, spoiler there, but yeah, I just
absolute spoiler. Absolute spoiler. I've played this a ton of times now. I keep pulling it out. I really like it. Absolute spoiler, but yes.
So, dear listeners, don't give up like I just did. Keep on listening to the show. It's worth it in the end for you guys, not for me. Okay,
Albert.
So, rulebook. Other than that, though, the rulebook looks like it's well laid out. It's the graphics are well done. Each of the levels, the page is a different color, so it's obvious what when you switch from level 2 to level 3. It's well laid out. Just that one minor detail.
Well,
no, there's a second minor detail.
There is a second minor detail. You're looking at a screen version of it.
Yeah.
Where it looks, you'd probably expect it's a book with staples and you can turn pages. But it's not.
Oh?
It's folded paper. So you fold it over. I think one rulebook is technically 6 pages. So instead of being able to turn pages, you open it up in a long accordion fold, and then you which one? Especially when you have things spread across the rulebook. Yeah, it's 8 pages. Especially when things are already flipped around, spread across the rulebook, and now I have a 4-section accordion fold to flip around and find the right one. Wait, why?
That is so. Why? So that kind of makes it easier if you just open it all the way up, and all you have to do is flip it over versus flipping pages back and forth, right?
No, there's 2 rulebooks. There's two rulebooks.
But you could have them up in front of you, one above the other, maybe?
Oh, yeah, you could.
Easy? I mean, yeah, it's a little big. Is this like a letter-sized paper, I guess?
Yeah, it's regular letter-sized paper, but it opens up 4 across ends. So there's 8 pages.
Times 4, yeah. Gosh, okay. Interesting design choices here.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, I don't think this is not design choices.
No,
this is
graphic design
publisher
choices.
Publisher choices to eschew a printed pagified rulebook. This is publisher design to not do it in a book and to do it in accordion fold.
Good. That saves money. I guess made the game cheaper and affordable. That's how they paid for those wooden components.
The wooden components are lovely.
Yeah, and you get them because you got this rulebook.
Components.
You've had a nice rulebook.
Nobody other than the person buying the game has this issue. So. Gosh.
Okay. So cool. What game is this again? Peak Team.
Okay. Peak Team. Now, hold on. I've given spoilers. Let me talk about the gameplay, okay? Let me talk about
If you want,
I
yeah.
love the gameplay. I love the gameplay. Okay.
Okay.
So the idea for the game is you have those supply cards that you get to move around the board. So, for example, you have a hand of supply cards. So maybe it shows, hey, one of them is you can move on the blue tracks. The blue track is a water area that it's a track that goes around the board, zigzagging through. And water is unique because you spend one of them and you can boat as far down as you go. The green, the black, and the white ones are all basically the same in that you spend them, and however many icons are pictured on that card, that's how many spots you can move. But you can move up and down with those ones. The fifth type is a red road one, and with the road, you can travel all along the road. So the road very quickly goes from like the left to the right of the board real fast. Sometimes, I think with the certain player counts, it goes straight to the middle, but the road lets you get across a lot of space real fast, but it's more restricted about where it is that it goes because it's a road. So sometimes you have to go across the board with the road and then walk up a spot. So you're using your cards, one card at a time per turn, to move across the board to get the spot that your missions are at. Because your goal, again, you have two goals in the game. One of your goals is to get to each of those missions and be able to complete all the missions on the board. Okay. If you're running out of missions, you have to get back to base. And when you're at base, you'll draw missions from the pile on the board, which get refreshed over the course of each round, and then distribute those out. When you're playing multiplayer, and even when you're playing solo, you look at one, and without input from anybody else, you have to pick who it is that you're giving it to. So someone may have a mission on towards the top of the mountain. So like, let's say they have one at R, and you're like, oh, you anyway have to go all the way up to R. Let me give you T. And then flip over, and you're like, well, I just revealed mission M. They're literally standing at M. I wish I had given them M, but I didn't flip it over first. I flipped over second. So I got to give someone else M, and now their job is to go back to the place that the person was just standing at. So pulling those missions, it's delicious when it happens to be able to make those decisions, and watches sometimes things go a little bit awry, and that's always fun and funny to watch that happen.
Yeah, so I can see that working.
Yeah, and you're using those missions to run around the board and be able to get those. When you're playing on the difficulty level 2, there are blocker tokens. Some start at the game, and more come out if you don't keep on top of those missions. Those blocker tokens prevent you from being able to move across different areas unless you're spending animal tokens to be able to remove those. Speaking of those animal tokens, your second mission is to be able to collect all of the animal tokens, i.e. take a picture of them. I said there's two things that those cards can be used for. You can use those cards if you're in one of the areas with an animal token that hasn't yet been taken, the picture hasn't been taken of it. You can spend the matching card to be able to take a picture of that animal. So for example, if I see, hey, there's a lynx here with me, I have a lynx card, I'm going to spend that lynx card to take a picture of the animal, and then I'm going to use it. The animal, on this difficulty level, gives you an opportunity to spend it to clear a blocker token, or you can spend it to get an extra movement or whatever it is. You can spend it instead of spending a card to be able to move around the board. The third type of thing you do with those cards is your support tokens. Everybody has a support token that you can use for a wild movement. You can use it to move around on the board. You can spend a turn instead of moving. You can spend 4 icons on cards, however many cards it takes, to refresh your wild so that it can be used again. One of the points of difficulty and fun and coordination is that you may never use your tokens for yourself. You have to use your tokens for another player, which means that if you, for example, are holding on to a blocker token, you can't unblock your own space. You have to wait for somebody else to unblock your space using one of your tokens. So it requires a lot of coordination. But even worse than that level of coordination, I keep mentioning about these cards. And you might think, hey, I'm just going to deal 4 cards to me and then I have to make do with what got. Not true at all. At the beginning of each round, you'll deal 4 cards to everyone. And everyone has to split the 4 cards they get. 2 go to the player to the right, 2 go to the player to your left.
Oh.
So you have to think together with everyone else, hey, what of my 2 cards is going to be the most helpful to him? I won't know all the cards he's going to get because he's going to get 2 cards of the person on his right. So what 2 cards will help him theoretically the most to be able to help him out, and maybe that'll work to help him. So you have to do that silently. You have to do that without talking to the other player and coordinating open information. You have to figure it out just all by yourself. I'll actually know what, I'm not going to interrupt with solo. So you have to figure that out. So that idea of having to make that split of your different cards is absolutely delicious. Every single round, you're like, I have garbage to help you. I can't do anything for you. I'm going to give you these 2 because like it's at least helping the player to my left, and I hope that you get something better, or I don't know what. You do have the ability that when you pass, when you stop playing for the round, you can hold on to those cards and then pass more later. So let's say you held on to 2 of your cards from last round. You can wait and pass them on. So like you can say, hey, the cards you passed me were such garbage, I'm going to pass them right back to you next round. So you can't hold on to them, so that lets you do a couple things. So that balancing all of those actions, balancing where you're moving and how it is that you're going around the board to be able to make sure you have the exact number of actions to be able to spend all your action points, all of that interplay of being able to make sure that your actions are specific, just precise enough that you can make sure that everyone gets to where they need to go at just the right time, so that you can clear missions, so that you can take more missions off the deck, so that people have availability to take missions, so they're going to the right places. All of that arrangement, all of that logistics, it is such a fun logistical puzzle to be able to work out. At the basic level, it doesn't have those blocker tokens. I think that it's really only fun, in my opinion, with the blocker tokens, when those animal tokens make a difference. At the next level of difficulty, it adds in unique player powers, where everyone gets a random player power. There's 10 options for player powers, and everyone draws 1. But there's special ones that require a whole lot of coordination. That once per game, everyone has to be standing at specific spots on the map that are randomly determined at the start of the game. So you have a special player power, but it becomes more difficult because at one point in time, everyone has to get to a spot. And everyone says, hey, we're all at the spot. We did it. We managed to do this at one point on the start of the game. But it requires nuance. Like every round, you're like, okay, is this the round? Is this the time to complete that? And you're constantly thinking that. And then level 4, you don't do that just once. You have to do that as many times as you can. And this one time it's beat your own score to see how many times can you manage to complete that coordination of get everyone to the same spot generally at the same time. And that super ups the logistical difficulty to be able to manage that, because you get points, you get badges for each time it is that you manage to succeed at that. I've only done it solo. Yeah, while doing all your other stuff, I'll be able to get that. And I have not ever done together with multiplayer in level 4, because that feels like that requires a whole lot of coordination, cooperation. I haven't tried it with multiplayer. I've obviously done it solo a number of times. I find that logistics really fun, really encouraging, fun to do. Since I'm mentioning solo,
how does that location work again? It's determined randomly at the start of the game, and then I guess once you do it in level 4, it comes up. You pick a different location each time or something.
Yes, there's a deck of special missions. The special missions list 5 places that you go. So, for instance, it'll list out LMG6K, whatever it is. So it lists all of those. At the start of the game, you pick the first X number based upon whatever number of player count you're at. When you're playing at higher difficulty counts, when you're playing at 5, the person who's doing it gets to say, hey, I'm going to say this is one where we can do 3 of these, and here's the 3. Or I think we could even do all 4 of these. Or I think you can just do 2 of them.
And you decide at the beginning of the game.
No, at the beginning of the game, the one for the full game, for the one that you have to do, if you're playing on difficulty 3, You have to do one that is based on the number of players you're at. Refreshing my memory, looking at the rules, when you're doing on level 4, you can pick if you want to do the same the player count one, or one less and make it slightly easier. So one less will be slightly easier, requires a little bit less coordination, but you get one less point in being able to do it. So you get to decide on how much more difficulty it is to arrange for.
I've been looking, it's random again, but I've been looking at a picture of the board on BGG, and I just noticed that the line that's on the board extended onto the table too, like the folding line. I was really confused, and then I realized that the board is a picture of a map on a table, and that was on another table. it looks really pretty. I like the way it looks. I like the design of it. It's all great.
Yep, that's definitely what I was saying before with the components.
But that rulebook nonsense, that really irks me.
You'll figure out the rulebook just fine. You'll be able
I'm
to.
not gonna figure it out because I'm not gonna get it.
Oh, Albert.
Maybe if they do a second edition.
Albert, they're not gonna do second edition.
Somebody else can teach me the game.
Okay, fine. I'll teach you the game. You get it, and I'll teach you the game.
I don't want to support that game with that nonsense.
Oh, it's so good.
It sounds really fun.
The logistics of it are so fun. If you like
really
logistic puzzles, if you like Pandemic and that sort of thing, we have to figure out how to exactly make everything mesh up.
Flashpoint Fire Rescue, and
all those logistic style puzzle games. This is that, and it's gold. I mentioned for solo before I forget, because I'm going into responses for solo, instead of doing that split of the cards that you get, each round you'll deal 3 columns of cards. The top set is face up, the next one is face down, and then a set of face up, and you have to pick from one of the bottom columns each time. So you may be able to reveal some cards, but some of them you don't necessarily know about what's coming or not. So all the information is there, but it's going to be a little protected about what comes. And any cards that get left, you just add on to it next round. So each of the columns gets a little bit more. So it mixes up about some information you have and some information you don't. It doesn't have that choice about how to distribute things, but you're still getting that amount of information. The logistics fun is all there. The interplay is obviously missing for solo. This is a rare game for solo that I feel misses a little bit of something from that interaction to being able to balance it. But the logistics fun is still there and still really fun, really enjoyable playing that solo game. Very good.
You went all robot on me in this recording. I have no idea what you said. I'm sure that the recording will come out fine, but I don't know what you said. And that's probably okay. I like the way you described the solo thing, where you said you lay out 6 cards and each turn you're picking out 4, right? And adding
no.
another.
You lay out columns, and so the top column is face up, then the bottom then the middle column is face down, and then another face up column, and you pick from the bottom of each column. You're always allowed to pick the bottom of each. To do that, if any of them become bottom and are still face down, you can flip it face up, so you get some information, but you don't have all the information at the start of the round.
And you're still getting 4 cards.
Yeah. You are playing a single person controlling 3 characters.
Okay. And because some of the cards are already face up, you're able to sort of plan for future rounds as you're doing this.
Future turns, but yes.
Future turns, yes. Okay. I like that about it. That sounds like it makes it a little more thinky than the multiplayer game.
Yeah. It requires a lot of logistics. The logistics fun of balancing you with 3 characters is really fun. You don't have that ability to do as much predictive work at the beginning of each round, which is a different experience than you get normally, because normally you get to have that experience of, hey, let me think about everything it is that they're doing and how it is that I can help and interplay.
Yeah.
you don't have that at that point in time, but that's fine. It's different, but it's not bad. It ups the level of logistics just that extra notch that if you're ever like, I want to alpha game everyone at the table and tell everyone what to do, you get to with Solo, and it's really fun. That is a great logistics experience.
That having that tableau reminds me of Gates of Loyang, where when you're playing Solo specifically, you get to lay out the cards face down or face up, and you would pick which cards you'd take, and I think you were buying them. Like the bottom row is free, and above that you had to pay. And if you didn't take cards, all the cards would slide down after you picked them, so you could kind of plan for future rounds that way too. And I always thought that was so much more interesting than the multiplayer version of choosing how you put the cards out in order. I like that. So I like the tableau a lot. I always thought that was a great mechanism. It's nice to see it here too. And I also really like the way the movement works. That reminds me of Scotland Yard, the old board game where you're either a criminal trying to escape or your detective's trying to catch a criminal. And the criminal moves on a board, and they could either move by train or by bus or by taxi. I forget the three ways. I've never actually played the game, but I had it at some point. And depending on which one you pick, it can move to different places on the board. You're following different paths. So it's similar to this. And I always thought that was such a neat way to control the movement. So it's neat. It's got some really fun sounding mechanics.
I think it's very neat. I think it's very fun. I enjoy all that logistics stuff. I enjoy being able to figure out everything and make sure that you have exactly what you need. The game can be real tight, especially on the level 4. Even the level 3 is difficult. I think the level 4, trying to maximize your score, can get very tight. I think it's really good. I've really been enjoying it a lot. I like the amount of interaction with multiplayer, being able to really think about what the other people are doing with that. You sometimes get that, like with Spirits of the Wild. With Spirit Island, for example, very often you're playing multiplayer, it feels very much like just the solo version of the game, because everyone's like, I'm going to deal with my spot. For the most part, I'm not even going to look at what whatever else is doing. Like, I'm in mine, you're in yours, and that's it. And you don't get that at all from this one, because everyone's got to understand what the other things are going.
You're forced to do that, yeah. Neat. Well, this is a neat game, Julius. I like it. But yeah, it's you piqued my curiosity, but then I lost that.
Oh, well, hopefully everyone else is going to be interested. I think you would like it, Albert. I really think
I'm sure I would enjoy it. I don't want to deal with that rule book, though. That's all. But I'm sure I would enjoy it. I agree.
Albert, I'm sorry. Sorry, Albert.
Win some, you lose some. I'll go find a different national park.
So, Albert, what do you call an owl detective?
Who?
A whodunit.
A whodunit. I was so close.
You're very close. All right, everyone. Have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We love feedback, so we love hearing from you. You can reach me at julius@oneplayerpodcast.com or JLBird on BGG, and Albert can be reached at albert@oneplayerpodcast.com or Fractaloon on BGG. Our website is oneplayerpodcast.com with the number 1, and we're also on Twitter at oneplayerpodcast. The intro music is copyright Angus, can be found at jamendo.com. The transition music is copyright by Dan Elduce Pancaldi, whose page is at donpancaldi.com. The One Player Podcast is protected under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Thanks for listening.